This is recording 1C in our series on working with radicals for Unit 5, Chapter 5 of Mathematics 2200. We'll be focusing our attention here on comparing and ordering radicals. Radicals with the same index can be compared and ordered if we express them as entire radicals. So let's take these radicals as an example. Notice they all have the same index. This one here doesn't really have a radical over it, but we'll deal with that in a moment. So we've got 8 square root of 2. Let's deal with that. 8 square root of 2. We remember from our previous two recordings, we take the coefficient and we raise it to an exponent that's equal to the index. So we really have here the square root of 8 squared, because the index in the square root is 2, times 2 here. And that gives us 64 times 2, which is the square root of 128. Next, 14. Well, that doesn't really have a radical over it, but because all the others are square roots, we will raise it to a power of 2. So it's the square root of 14 squared, which is the square root of 196. So clearly, so far, 14 is bigger than 8 times the square root of 2. The square root of 202, well, that's already entire, so we don't need to worry about that one. 10 times the square root of 2. 10 times the square root of 2, think of that as 10 squared times 2. And that gives us the square root of 100 times 2, which is the square root of 200. And our final one, 4 times 13 exponent 1/2. Remember, exponent 1/2 means it's the same as the square root of 13, because the bottom number in the exponent is our index. So we have 13 to the 1, square root of 13 exponent 1, which is just the square root of 13. Now I can bring that 4 in by raising it to an exponent of 2. And I have 13 here, so it gives me 16 times 13, which gives me the square root of 208. So let's rank these in order of, well, from least to greatest as we're requested. So the smallest one is clearly the square root of 128, which is 8 root 2. So that's the smallest. The next smallest is the square root of 196. So that's the second one. The next smallest is the 10 root of 2, because that's only the square root of 200. Then we have the square root of 202 is next. And then finally, we have the square root of 208 would be the largest. Therefore, writing them in their original form from least to greatest, 8 root 2 would be the smallest, the least. Then we have 14. Then we have 10 root 2. Then we have square root of 202. And finally, 4 times 13 exponent 1/2. In conclusion, to compare and order radicals, express them as entire radicals with the same index.